Hi there, I'm Gord, and this is the first of 9 episodes where I'm going to show you how to make a segmented bowl with a diamond featuring. Actually, it's a vessel, not a bowl. Segmented turning just means, at its basic, taking small pieces of wood, gluing them together, and creating something. Now, it's a little more complex than that when you want to get into something like this, but I'm going to try to show you every single step necessary to recreate this one. And then from that you can take the information and do anything else you want with it. I'm going to make some assumptions. I'm going to assume that first of all you're a woodworker and a wood turner, and that as a wood turner you have the basic skills already down. From there, just it's a matter of working on them. And that's about it. Let's start doing this. Today I'm going to show you how I plan this thing. The only tools I need to do the planning are graph paper, a straight edge, and most important, an eraser. It's not unusual to change my mind often while doing this step. I always start a project by drawing the profile of the bowl or vessel I want to turn. I start with the width of the bottom of the vessel. First, I draw a line representing the bottom on graph paper and then draw lines to decide on the height of each ring. Software packages are available to do much of this planning, but I prefer to do it this way. It lets me see the symmetry of what I intend to do, and I can easily change anything I want to. Once I've decided on the heights of the rings of the vessel, I draw the profile. I draw lines indicating both the inside and outside of the vessel, which allow me to establish the width of the segments for each ring. I include the floating disc, which will be in the bottom of the vessel. The floating disc allows me to use a segmented ring on the bottom and still have a solid-looking area where I can sign and date the vessel. Most important, it also prevents any cracking that can occur on a solid bottom. Here I'm marking the ends of each segment to give me the width I need to cut them at. The segment must be wide enough to be sure that there is enough wood on both the inside and outside of the ring to turn the vessel without turning it into a funnel. I try to make sure that there is sufficient material without using too much and wasting any wood. By measuring from the center line I drew on the plan to the outside segment line, I get the radius of that ring. Doubling that number gives me the diameter. I record those numbers on the card to keep track of the outside diameter of each ring. I write the number of each ring on the card to make sure I put the outside diameter of each ring on the correct line. Putting the number of each ring on the plan also helps keep me from mistakenly using the wrong dimensions when making the rings. It's easy to get confused as to the width and length of the segments. This shows you what I'm referring to in each case. The thickness of the segment is often referred to as the height. I'm consulting a chart I made to determine the length I need to cut the segments at. At the end of the video, I will include the chart for you as well as the math used to get the numbers so that you can do your own if you choose to do something other than a 16-segment ring. Don't let the math scare you off. It's actually quite simple. If I can do it, believe me, so can you. The distance between these two lines is the minimum width of your segment. It's alright to go a little wider, but if you go narrower, you risk having too little material to turn your vessel. The area between these two lines shows the height of your ring. This is the card after I have entered all the information I will want when making the rings. It includes the outside diameter, segment length, and the cut length, as I add a bit extra to remove on the disc sander when truing up the angle. You will see that on a future episode of this series. Also, the minimum width of the segments and finished height of each ring. The wood species is entered so I don't inadvertently use the wrong species for a ring. Don't ask how I learned that. The W stands for walnut and the B for birch. The dot-to-dot ring contains alternating segments of walnut and birch. This is the math used to arrive at the segment length and segment angle used in making rings. This isn't a math class, so I'll try to keep it to the bare essentials. If you never want to do anything other than a 16-segment ring, you may not need this anyway, as I will put the chart I used on this video. You can always replay this and use it to refresh your memory on how to do this. In this example, assume the diameter of the ring is 7 inches. The circumference, or distance around the edge of the circle, is equal to the diameter, in this case 7 inches, multiplied by pi, which is 3.1416. That gives us a circumference of 21.991 inches. The segment length is equal to the circumference divided by the number of segments in your ring. Here we divide 21.991 by 16 and get a segment length of 1.374 inches. The segment angle is equal to 360, the number of degrees in a circle, divided by the number of segments and then divided by 2. This is because each segment will have 2 ends, which means there are actually 32 angles in a 16-segment ring. This means that the segment angle is equal to 360 degrees divided by 16 segments and then divided by 2, giving us a segment angle of 11.25 degrees. I hope I'm explaining this clearly. Feel free to pause and replay this section as often as you like. I'm not a mathematician either. If there is something I'm not making clear, leave a comment and I will try to answer any questions you may have. This is the chart I used to determine the segment lengths needed and the length to cut them at. Pause this at any point you like if it will help you see the lengths needed at the diameter you would like to work with. I hope it is clear enough for you. Well, I'm glad to get the math out of the way. Sorry if I put you to sleep, but it'll get better, I promise. In the second segment, we're going to learn how to make the segments and form them into a ring. So if you like what I'm doing, click the like button. Leave a comment, let me know if I'm doing something right or if I'm doing something wrong. I hope you're enjoying it. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.